This question comes from literally everyone who has ever stared at a world map and thought, wow, that's a lot of blue. What if, one morning, you woke up and every single drop of ocean water had vanished? Gone. No splash, no warning, no giant straw sticking out of the Pacific. Just gone. Well, first of all, if you live near the coast, your morning commute would suddenly involve a lot more walking and a lot less swimming. The beach would stretch out for hundreds of kilometers in places, revealing muddy plains, coral reefs, and shipwrecks that haven't seen the sun in centuries. Congratulations, you now own prime real estate in what used to be the middle of the Atlantic. But that would be the least of your problems. Oceans are not just big puddles of water. They are Earth's massive heat regulators. They store and distribute energy from the sun, keeping temperatures on our planet relatively stable. Without them, the continents would heat up and cool down like a frying pan left on a campfire. Daytime temperatures would skyrocket, nighttime would plunge into freezing cold, and your local weather forecast would need a new vocabulary for unbearable. Speaking of weather, without oceans, there would be no more hurricanes, which sounds like good news, until you realize that there would also be no more rain over most of the planet. The water cycle depends on evaporation from the seas, and without it, vast regions would turn into desert within months. You think your houseplants are thirsty now? Give it a week, and you'll be watering them with your own tears. Of course, losing the oceans also means losing about 97% of all the water on Earth. Freshwater lakes and rivers might last for a little while, but without rainfall, they'd shrink fast. Groundwater would become the new gold, and you'd better believe people would fight over it. Forget bottled spring water. In this future, half a cup of muddy pond juice could be worth a fortune. And then, there's the biology problem. The oceans are home to about 80% of all known life on Earth. Remove them, and you instantly wipe out entire ecosystems, from plankton to whales, in a single, silent apocalypse. The rest of the biosphere wouldn't do much better. Without oceans absorbing CO2, greenhouse gases would build up faster, and the already unstable climate would spiral even further out of control. On the bright side, and I use bright loosely, you could now walk from Japan to California. It would only take you a few months, and you'd probably starve halfway through, but think of the adventure. You'd pass by undersea mountain ranges taller than Everest, endless plains of weird, alien-looking mud, and maybe the occasional stranded submarine. But before you lace up your hiking boots, here's a little problem. Without oceans, the air pressure near sea level would drop. All that missing water mass means less gravitational pull, keeping the atmosphere close to the surface. The thinner air would make breathing harder, and UV radiation from the sun would burn your skin faster than you could say, "I should have stayed indoors." And if you think tsunamis are scary, consider this. The sudden disappearance of trillions of tons of water would mess with Earth's crust. The ocean floors would rebound upward slightly, triggering earthquakes and volcanic eruptions all over the world. Entire coastlines might collapse inward, and places like Iceland could suddenly find themselves sitting on a very bad-tempered volcano. In short, losing the oceans would be like taking the heart out of the planet. The Earth would still spin. The continents would still sit there looking smug, but everything that makes it habitable would unravel. Within a year, humanity would be struggling to survive on a hot, dry, stormless rock. And that's the optimistic scenario. So, what if the oceans instantly disappeared? Well, you'd get a lot more land and nowhere to live.